Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
All right. Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. My guest today is Steve Feld, a business marketing strategist, TEDx presenter, author, and award-winning executive. Having worked with more than 900 businesses and built 7 of his own, Steve focuses on one thing: strengthening the foundation of a business so growth is sustainable, scalable, and real. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Great. Thank you for having me.
All right. So why don't you give us a quick snapshot of your business or businesses right now?
Yeah, they've ran the gamut. I wish I could say how great all 7 of them were, but I'd be lying. And I think most people who say that would be too. It's like first business, I was in the tech space writing business and marketing plans, and then turned into coaching because they're techies and they had to speak business. So I had to teach them business. Tech bubble. I mean, everything was beautiful. And then the bubble burst. Well, so did the business. And I did what any entrepreneur should do, is curl up in a corner in your bedroom with the lights off for 3 days and just let it out. And then the light bulb came on. Within 24 hours of the light bulb, I had the new second company set up where I was consulting all the companies in the tech space that were beaten up, that still had venture capital money, but didn't know what to do because they're not business people. They're techies. Right. And I wrote a business plan within less than 12 hours and executed it. 18 months later, a company made me an offer to buy it. And that was the goal of the business. It was in my business plan to build a sellable business.
Okay.
And things were great. I was like, oh, wow. Wow, when you actually write a business plan and execute it. Funny how here I am writing business plans for people. Did I have one in my first business? No.
Sure. Well, that was a hurtful but important lesson.
Yeah, it was very hurtful. I can laugh about it now. The first 5 years after that wasn't
too
so
soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you start realizing how important it is to be structured and intentional with your business and planning an exit, which I think a lot of people don't think of, right? They know they like it. Now I want to have a bakery. I like baking. And then they have no idea where it's headed.
I couldn't agree with you more. 2020 was actually my busiest year because people were calling me up. I called a business broker and they don't want to help me sell my business. And I would talk to them for a few minutes. I go, you don't have a business. You have a great income stream.
Right.
You have a beautiful income stream, but not a business. And I started realizing a lot of business owners don't know the difference between the two.
Okay. Why don't you explain the difference here for our listeners?
Yeah. So having a good income stream, let's say it's you, your spouse, your kids in the business, you're making money. It could be whatever it is, installation or whatever. Guess what? When you go on vacation, who goes with you? Everybody. That's not a business. That means the business shuts down. A business, on the other hand, is when you go on vacation, you have staff in the office, the doors are still open, you're still making money, still doing sales, and you have systems and processes in place to one day exit out as a sellable business or legacy. Chances are your kids don't want your business. Let's be real.
I don't know the stats on that, but that's the overwhelming trend I hear.
Yeah, it's less than 8% of your kids actually are going to take over your business, and 3 generations down, it's gone.
Right.
Because it's your passion, not necessarily your kid's passion. So you really do have to have an exit strategy. And I started seeing the value of that. And I started teaching exit strategies in 21. And I wrote a couple books on it, just trying to help business owners start building systems and processes in their business so they can build a business, not a great income stream. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with great income stream. I know people had a business 40 years, pulling in $200,000 a year, taking a month off vacation. Great. What a great lifestyle. But at the end of the day, no one wants it.
And yeah, it doesn't have any lasting value. It's a job. And
you're your own employee. That's what it is. I've been there.
Right. And yeah, that's the risky part of it too, is there's not a lot of security in that.
No, I mean, you don't set up the systems. You got, hopefully you paid yourself so you can get Social Security, you know, did it the right way and taking draws. But yeah, there's so many on the other side of it. But if you'd have employees and systems and processes, people then can look at it like, I'm going to buy your business, Tim, but Tim's going to go retire. There's no Tim, but if Tim is the whole business, why would I want to buy it?
Right. Right. So that was kind of your second and third businesses as you started helping other businesses, and then you realized you can coach other people, and they started calling you up. Is
Yeah,
that still a
second
big
was
focus now?
coaching. I bought a retail store that was distressed. I turned it around, won a whole bunch of awards for it for the turnaround.
Nice.
Knocked their cost of goods from 70%. This is insane. 70% cost of goods down to 8. It was like that kind of stuff because they weren't
Wow.
business people. I turned it into a business. And then when the economic downturn hit, I knew all my competitors personally. So they're all coming to me. Can you buy my business? Because they knew I was a business guy first, retail owner second. And I bought all I did was buy databases for
Hmm.
pennies on the dollar.
I
And the
see.
reason was because I know how to market. I survived through the whole economic downturn through marketing. And I thank God I renegotiated all my deals with my vendors prior to
Okay.
that. So it kept my cash flow extended out so I can play the game.
Right.
And then I got out of that and I ended up realizing I'm getting tired of this. This is work. And my landlord was kind of coming down on me, but I'm the only one paying rent. Everyone else is going out and behind on
Yeah.
rent. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture. And then one day I'm like, no one's going to buy my business in this market. I realized my pieces of the business were worth greater than the whole. So I started selling off the pieces. I came out way ahead on it. I was
Okay.
okay, next, what do I do now? And then I got an insurance and ran a district office. I owned a district office for a large insurance company, and everything was going good there until I started realizing, insurance really isn't my bag. I got all these
Okay.
licenses now, and it's just not my thing.
What type of insurance?
Everything was for captive insurance agents, so they were dedicated to one agency or one company. I should say,
Right.
like your Farmers, State Farm, Allstate, they're
Right.
captive,
Right.
independent agents. I mean, the world's their oyster.
Okay. Okay. And it just wasn't floating your boat.
No, so I sold my agency or sold the district off, opened up a consulting agency, consulting agency owners how to build their businesses because I've been training agents to build a business, not
Right.
build an insurance agency.
Okay.
And everything kind of took off from there. I was like, okay, wait, I like this side of it and I know what they do. And I had clients in, I think, almost every single insurance company that you can imagine. So I learned a
Okay.
lot and helping them grow a business.
And was that national?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
clients all over the place. And then somehow I got morphed into working with chambers and because I knew that world, I've been on boards, all
Right.
these kind of things. And it was kind of like I watched the morphing of my business, but I don't know. I'm not making the shifts. The market
Okay.
is kind of making the shift, and I go with it because I'm paying attention to my metrics. I'm looking at who's coming in. I always ask, "How'd you hear about me? Why do you want to work with me?" Those kind of things.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So so skip to today, you have how many active businesses, Steve?
It's 3.
Okay. Okay. And how I imagine they teach they you kept it growing those skill sets and finding ways in which they interacted. So
Yeah.
please share.
I sold my last business off 3 years ago. I sold 90% of it off, kept the 10%. The 10% was all automated programs. So
Okay.
that's been pretty good. So I started building up my automated programming. I'm like, wow, this is so much easier than having to go pound pavement for clients. And I did
Mhm.
joint venture partners, speaking. I do a lot of professional speaking, just doing workshops, trying to help business owners. And then I just started recently a new venture called Coffee Tea and Tea and Coffee Hub with someone we've been talking about for years. We got to do a business together, right? And then one day we were talking and light bulb went on, lightning struck, more like it. And we said, here's our business. We're going to work with entrepreneurs. to get them unstuck, stop making excuses, and move their businesses forward faster.
Okay. Okay. And well, okay, so how does that work?
Yeah, what we've been doing, we started off with a podcast. We thought, hey, let's just start with some podcasts. Within 24 hours of us coming up with the idea, we had a business plan written, a website up, our first podcast already in the can. And we're like, wait a minute, if we can do it, why are we not teaching this to others? Stop talking about things, get it done. But we also came up with a plan of action. So it wasn't just, let's just throw something at the wall. What we do now, we've been starting with accountability groups because I've been hosting accountability groups for years, and I've
Okay.
seen how fast business owners start reaching their goals just by being in an accountability group.
Okay.
And
Being more
they only get to
intentional
talk for
about
like
the
3 minutes, but it's their goals, their what 3 goals that they have to do accomplish in within a week. It could be one big one, 3 little ones, whatever, but nothing powder puffy. Well, I need to clean up my list. That's not going to move the business unless you have something behind it. And we started noticing the people in the accountability group were getting massive results faster and all it is, the group holds them accountable just by saying it out loud in a group. When
Okay.
someone gives an excuse, the rest of the group kind of piles on it like that's an excuse.
Okay. It's not like a mastermind where they're giving ideas. Typically,
No,
it's more accountability.
it's accountability. And I do
Okay.
run mastermind. I've ran mastermind groups for, I want to say, at least 15, 20 years. I love them and I still do them. I'm in one and I'm always facilitating one. That's a little bit, I want to say, a little bit deeper because you put someone
Right.
in a hot seat and we have procedures, and it really, like, sometimes it hits your nerve, but guess what? A week later, you're raving about it. After you got a little butt hurt, you're raving about it like, I got unstuck and now here's what's happening in my business.
Right. Okay. Okay. Excellent. And on that note, on the tea and coffee hub side, you have a promotion coming up in March. Do you want to share that?
Yes, we have a 3 day summit to help people get stuff done, stop talking about it. And we're bringing in speakers of mindset, finance, business, operations, obviously strategy. And the whole goal is to get business owners stop getting in your own head and putting up your own walls in front of you. And let's bust through the walls and move your business forward faster.
Okay. Excellent. And we'll put a link to that in the show notes and so forth. But
Great.
that's a virtual event.
Virtual and free.
Oh, right. Virtual and free.
Yeah.
You've taken away the biggest barriers.
See, we want you
Yep.
to get results in your business.
Excellent. Excellent. Speaking of free resources, you also have a book, is that right?
Yes, I have 45-minute business breakthrough. It just has 8 simple strategies any business owner can implement in their business right away without spending money on marketing or advertising. Because my goal is to see business owners survive and thrive. Stop making it so difficult and struggling.
Okay. And you'll share a link and we'll get that in the show notes as well, right?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. When did you write that?
I want to say now 8 years ago.
Okay.
And since
Pre-COVID.
then, I've written 19 others.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Everything to do to
Library.
help small business owners.
Okay. Okay. So what's the other than brewing success? What else is your major focus right now?
I've been just speaking at summits, conferences. I love speaking at associations, trying to help those business owners as well, and joint venture partners. And I teach all this stuff as well because a lot of people are like, "What's a joint venture partner?" It's like, well, we will be talking about that. It's like, here's the steps A to Z, so you can actually have a joint venture partner in your business. It's kind of like what we were talking about referrals beforehand. This takes referrals and puts it on steroids.
Right. Right. It can, yeah, it can boost your network and
Oh
your
yeah.
revenue. Yeah.
And it's amazing who you can joint venture partner with. And I've only had one company ever stump me, and their industry was so narrow. It's like your clientele is like one out of every, you know, one or half a mil. So yeah, you got a
Yeah.
little bit of a niche there. And
Yeah, a little
we
bit.
dug and found joint venture partners, but it was like, you're gonna, well, it's government too that they were in. I go, yeah, you have a bigger nut to crack than the
Right.
average business owner.
Okay. Okay. Um, so how many business owners are looking for an exit and selling their business, and then how many of those want to go into their next business?
I'd say quite a bit because a lot of them don't have an exit strategy.
Okay,
So they're,
that's another important thing to deal with right away.
yeah, I've learned the lesson of that one and I've seen the benefit of it. But you got to build, you need to know what your end goal is so you can get the business towards it. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
where's your target?
You need a
And I
vision.
ask that to business owners, what is your end goal with this? And they're looking at me like, I'm just starting my business. Why would I have an exit strategy? It's like, then how do you know where you're going to go?
Yep.
So if you took a trip, you're just going to hop in a car and pray that you get somewhere, or are you going to
Yep.
map it out?
So all right, sounds like things are going really well for you. Are you looking towards the future? Do you have sort of a vision for Steve's companies?
Yes, we're the big thing has been building up the tea and coffee hub and just expanding more on my online automated programs to help business owners and do a lot more speaking this year. Every year I say
Okay.
that, and every year it gets a little bit better. It's like I'm not asking for grotesque numbers. It's like, hey, can I squeak in 5 more speaking gigs?
Sure, sure. And I imagine that's pretty rewarding. But also as you said, the automations, right? That's more on the passive
Yes.
side, which is a better use of your time, right? As you continue to
Yes.
grow and learn, you can be more effective and efficient.
I wish I would have learned that one a longer time ago. And now with AI, it's been a real game changer. I've been using a lot of my AI tools in my automation, and it's been speeding up to get things out of my head and get it out to the people.
Okay, excellent, excellent. It's a lot of what I do with my like clients, for example, investors who want they first of all, we often have to talk about, well, what is your goal, right? They don't even know. They're like, oh, I've heard real estate's great, and it's like, well, yeah, it is, but well, why do you want to be in it? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking for passive income? You know, you dialing back your W-2, you know, you look for something to replace that, or are you looking for growth, right? And equity, maybe more like, and things like that. But passive income, yeah, it's a great exit strategy as well.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of business owners ignore that. And I don't know how many times I've met with a business owner. I go, so do you have a financial planner? And they all give me that same look.
Oh,
Why would I need one? I'm like, okay, if you ever sell, you're gonna have a tax problem.
yep,
First of all, second of all, you own your own business. You need to have a safety net. You think the government's gonna help you?
right. Right. Well, it's a bit of a trap too, right? Because when you're young, starting off, you kind of have to reinvest into your business for it to grow,
Right.
and it's pretty heavy. But at some point, you have to realize, okay, now I gotta need to diversify a little bit.
Exactly.
Right. For sure. For sure. All right. Good stuff. Speaking of like local stuff, Phoenix stuff, I'm pointing at this sign. For listeners, the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast. How many of your clients are local?
Very few. Most
Really?
are across North America. I want to say America and Canada. For years, I don't know why, I had all this Australian clients and it worked out
Huh.
great. I'm going to bed, they're waking up. It worked so well. That was when I was doing one-on-one coaching. And I was even attending networking events in Australia while I was in America because they had it virtual as well.
Huh.
And I was like, wow, loved getting niched into the Australians. They really took what you said to heart. They didn't weren't overly defensive. They were like, wait a minute, I need to move my business. What can I do? And I get them to think differently. And they took action on it. And I saw the massive growth there. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're easier to coach than, some other places. I had people in
Huh,
Dubai.
interesting.
Okay, I didn't like that time change.
Okay, sure.
I did
But
turn it over to a coach I know that was a lot more in that region.
okay,
And that was another point
but
is like get good partners.
right, right. And having them have the right mindset is huge, right? I mean,
Right.
the growth mindset, like you said, is you think that people are a little more defensive, that the ego is a little too strong here in the U.S.?
I would say so because I'm a victim of that. And
Okay.
I ignored my business was hurting. One of my businesses was really hurting at the time, and I was in a bad space in my head. And thank God I had good friends around, good group. And they said, get a life coach. And I'm like, I don't, life coaches are too woo woo for me. And they go, fine, get a business coach. Here's some. So I interviewed a whole bunch of business coaches. I found one that was a little bit rougher, kind of would kick me on the backside when needed
Hmm.
and almost hug me. And I went with them. My whole life and my business changed within 45 days.
Wow.
And
That's
then
the
that's when I
power of
started.
having the proper mentor.
Right. Because as an entrepreneur, shiny objects everywhere, right?
Hmm.
And you lose focus, your train is not on the rails anymore. She brought me back, my train back on the rails, got rid of all this negativity and the BS, and my life, my personal life, and the business just started taking off.
Awesome. Awesome. So on that note, I mean, things that have changed your life and your career path, that's probably one of them.
Oh, absolutely. And I was fighting it like no tomorrow. I don't need it. I know my business better than anyone. Boy,
Right. That's the
I
thing with
might
a
know
lot
my
of,
business better than
yeah.
anyone. They know people and business. So they owned and operated, I think, 12 highly successful multi-million dollar companies. So I always look for a coach, and I've had coaches since then.
Right.
If you haven't owned a business and grew it and sold it off, I can't have you as a coach because that's me personally. I need you to be ahead of me, not behind or equal to me,
Right.
because I
Right.
need to get to that level.
Right. Um, Well, that's funny because for the most part, a lot of it's knowledge, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's having somebody else to push you, whether or not they've exactly climbed that same mountain or not, isn't quite as important. I always get a kick out of like professional athletes who have fitness coaches who are they're not as fit
Right.
as the person they're coaching, but they still have the
They,
experience and the know-how
that's it.
and stuff.
I was reading Michael Jordan had like 35 coaches. And it's like, wait, he's the greatest basketball player in the
Yeah.
world, in my opinion. But he had a dribbling coach, a passing coach, all these people. And he said, the reason I have all these coaches, they see things in me I can't see for myself. And
Right.
once I first got a coach, I'm like, a lot of these answers were right here and I can't see it. But it took a coach to open up my eyes.
Right. I think that's kind of the I don't know what the barriers for everyone, but
Yeah.
there is a definite barrier to getting a coach, right? Maybe it's the language, maybe it's just calling it a coach. When really, I mean,
Yeah.
historically, they were just your elders, they were your mentors, people
Right.
who could help you, right? But it's not. Oh, well, I'm successful. I don't need anything. It's actually, to your point, the most successful people have the most coaches, and that's not by
It's
accident.
true. No, I mean, 1 year in Inc. 500, they did a article like, do you have a coach, a business coach? Well, 499 of them out of the 500 did. Number 500 did not. The only reason he did not, this was his ninth company, and he stayed in the same sector. So it took him 8 times to figure out, what to do, and he
That's
finally
funny.
did it.
Right. That's called paying for speed. You could have done it in the first or second company if you had a
Right.
coach.
That's dedication. When I read that, I was like,
That's
woo,
one
I would have
word
gotten
for
some
it.
help after maybe the second company.
Right. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Um, so I think I like to talk about legacy plans. I think whenever I talk to somebody who's a coach and helps other people, they are part of your legacy, right? Every
Yeah.
company you've worked with and stuff is part of your legacy. Do you have anything else to add on that, or any goals or
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
generational
it. I've
aspirations?
thought about legacy planning for business, and I always say, let's assemble your team. And they always give me that funny look. It's like, okay, your financial planner, your tax advisor, your CPA, your family, and your lawyer. Let's get around the table and come up with a legacy strategy. And I've done this with businesses. One company came to me and they said, we have a legacy strategy for the grandfather to exit in 5 years. And I asked the grandfather, do you want to wait 5 years? He's like, I'm ready now. I just want to go to be the sales guy. So it's like I met with the family. We brought their team in and said, let's accelerate it. Within, I think, 3 hours, we had a whole new plan. Within 2 weeks, he was now the head salesperson. And the one son who was in the business stepped up. Everyone had a role. Everyone knew what to do. The business took off because he now became the salesperson and got out of the day-to-day stuff. So I think if you're thinking about your business, what do you want to do with it? You're going to sell it. Unfortunately, there's like 8 ways to exit your business, and people don't talk about number 8, and that's, dying in your business, literally dying. And people don't think of that. So is it in your will? A lot of people don't think of these things. Or do you have a plan in place with your advisor? God forbid something like that happens, to take care of your family. Because odds are your spouse doesn't want your business.
Right. You said 8% or something like that, less than 10% of companies are handed off to family members.
Yeah.
With maybe that's also successfully handed off to business.
Yeah. The kid wants to take it over.
Right. Okay. Interesting. All right. So, as we sort of wrap up the interview, I was wondering, so exciting plans, initiatives you have coming up. One is in March, right? You have the virtual 3-day summit, Brewing Success. That's with the tea and coffee hub.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for 2026? Beyond that?
That's been our big focus. And then the partner I have with that business, we both do speaking, but we speak on different things. We're not the same. They're more AI, social media. They're a guru at that part. And I love the business side of it. So
so you probably complement each other nicely.
Yeah. When it comes to social media stuff, I'm like, I'm only on it for maybe 5 minutes a day tops. That's
good
like
for you.
4.5 minutes too long sometimes.
Right.
I automate as much as possible. I'm a big automator.
Excellent. Great time to be doing that too. There's a lot of incredible tools available.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I love some of these tools out there. You just got to find the right one for you and your business.
Right. Okay, Steve. If people like to connect with you and learn more about you, about your businesses, about the Tea and Coffee Hub, where can they go? What should they do?
Yeah, my website is bizcoachsteve, bizcoachsteve.com, and Tea and Coffee Hub is teaandcoffeehub.com. We try to make it as easy as possible. And we have a lot of resources on both sites.
Okay, excellent. Sounds good. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Steve Feld, for joining me today and sharing your insights into business and growing the mindset and what would you say, the providing the tools, right, required. And check out the free resources, right? The free book as well as check out the event coming up.
Well, thanks for having me on, and I really hope it helps. And if business owners have a question, feel free, just reach out.
Excellent. Thank you.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.